Okay, so we should be back live now. Can everyone see me or hear me clearly? I'm going to switch over now to my desktop and let's see if this is working fine. Is it still blurry? Can you see the desktop okay? Pack View says hi again. Good to see you. Good to see you. Right. Can we all see the screen okay? Please let me know in the comments box. Okay. Hussein also. Ahmed. Okay. Fantastic. Blur again. Oh no. Sound is low. Okay. Let's fix the sound. Is that better with the sound? Is the sound better now? And now it's buffering. Right. Okay. I don't know what I should do now, you know, because it's so frustrating. I really want this to work, you know. Right. Okay. Looks like it's buffering. Okay, so the screen is now much better. Okay, so if the screen is much better, let's continue. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do here is right, is it working okay for everyone? Because I can see here, don't work. All right, let's start. Looks like it's fine now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by creating a brand new page. So over here, I'm just going to click on the add new page. And you may notice here that although I'm running the latest WordPress 5, I'm actually not running the Gutenberg editor because for the new backend builder to work, I have to disable the backend builder. So I'm just going to come over here to the plugins so I can show you. So if I click on installed plugins, you'll notice that I have the classic editor added on there. So here with the classic editor, it's actually activated. So that's what's going to allow us to see the new backend builder. Right. So I'm going to switch back over here, click on add new to add a new page. And then I'm going to add a brand new page. So let's just call this Mac new. Okay. Because I'm running out of pages to create now. Right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and click on use the Divi builder. And now you'll notice that we have these three options to choose which page to use. So I'm going to click on build from scratch. And what you'll notice straight away is we have this new builder, right? So this is where the old backend builder used to be. So this is sort of like the new layout. Okay, so if you want to switch on to the front end editor, this is now the new button. But you can see here that it's really grayed out. Okay, not grayed out, but it's it's got a bit of a color anyway. Now, what I need to show you here is if you when it's time to start building your page, all you have to do is to start building it from here. So if I click this plus button here, I can add a single column or even 4 columns. So let's do 4 columns, right? And then I can come over here and add a text module. So I'm going to search for it. And then select it, and then I can start adding my text there, and I can also drag this around if I need to. Now, what I haven't tried is to snap this to the left and actually it snaps over here to the right, which I think is quite good. Okay. Right. So I can add my text here. So I'm just typing here, add text. So you can see here, it's quite easy to add my text. But because I'm in the backend builder, I can't actually see what I'm adding onto this text module. Okay. But there is some good news, because while you're in this backend builder, you can actually come over here to these little icons here on the top. Right. I'm not sure if you can see this on this live stream, but it's right here on the top. So if you click here on desktop view, in fact, I have to publish this. In fact, let me just close this, right? So if I click here on desktop view, okay, let me publish this first, and then I'll show you what I mean. Right. So this is our backend builder here. So if I, oh, something is wrong. Something's not working okay here. So what I'll have to do is let me update, because I saw an update earlier. So maybe that's what's causing this conflict. So if you can bear with me while I do the update. Okay, so I'm just going to update Divi here because there's an update. So I'm just going to leave this page. I tried to be stubborn and try to run this without updating to the latest Divi. So you can see here, this is the latest Divi update. I'm just going to update this. Okay, so while that is updating, this is also one of the very important things, because as we're just getting started off here with the new Gutenberg editor and WordPress 5, there are things that may not work. So it's very important to keep an eye on all the updates so that these things may be ironed out. So I'm going to go back in now and see if everything is working. Okay, right. So back over here to my computer, it looks like my update has been done. So I'm going to come back over here to pages, click on all pages, and we should see the page that I was trying to work on. And I think I've called it Mac something. You can see here I've got quite a lot of pages that I've set up. Okay, here it is, Mac New. So if I click on Edit, let's see what happens. Okay, so we have the backend builder here loaded. So I should be able to see a preview of the page, but it looks like the preview is not working for some reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer from the layout pack, just to make things easier for me, rather than me adding all these pages manually. And then we're going to go back to that. So I'm just going to click here on Design Agency and then click on Use this layout. So this is going to take a while to load. So while this is loading, with the new builder, it is also possible to use these old layouts that we have. I shouldn't call them old, but these layouts can also be added in the backend builder. Okay, so now it looks like everything is loaded. So let's take a look at that. So you can see here, these are all the sections, the modules that has just been added onto our page. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to click on Update. And now we're going to do a quick preview of what this actually looks like. Right, so I'm going to come over here and switch over to the desktop view. And now we see our layout. So you notice that I haven't actually gone out of this backend builder. This is still in the backend builder. All I've just done is I've just clicked here on this little icon here for my desktop view. Okay, so everything that I'm doing right now is actually here on my backend builder. Now, let's say you're making some changes over here and you want to see how it looks like in the tablet view. If I click over here, this is how you see it on the tablet view. And the exciting thing here on the tablet view as well is you can start making your adjustments. So as you can see here, I'm actually making my padding, smaller like that. So that becomes my new changes to my tablet view. I can also do the same here on the mobile view. So I can come over here, play around with this, make some changes. Back over here to the desktop view. I can also do the same like that. So you can make all your adjustments in here. Now, there's something very, very, very important I need to explain here. And that is, while we're looking at this preview that we have here, this is pixel perfect, exactly what you would see when you exit the visual builder and preview the actual page. So now there's no need of saving the page and then clicking on preview, exiting out of the visual builder. So what you're actually seeing here in this preview is how the page is going to look like. So this is going to save us a lot of time. I mean, it's going to be a lot of time saved here, because every time you save the page, exit the visual builder, reload the page, just to have a look at what it looks like. No, you no longer need to do that. So what you see here in this preview is exactly how it's going to be as you are designing your website. Okay. So this is the preview that I'm talking about. So once you're ready to go back to editing, all you have to do is to click here on this other icon. And this is the icon that brings us back to the backend builder. Okay. So I'm just going to click here, and notice that it's called wireframe view as well. Right. So for those of you that preferred using the backend builder, it's the same experience. You can come in here, you can drag things around. So if you take a look here, I can actually drag this like that. So it's still drag and drop. And the beauty of this is you can actually come here and see what this section is. So you can come in here, rename this section. So you can just call this new section like that. So labeling this is actually quite good when you, let's say you're creating these layouts for maybe others to see, or you want to share your layout with, with colleagues, or even sell your layout. So once with these labeled here, it makes it easier for people to go in and make some adjustments. All right. So far, any questions on what I've done? Toran here says that's good, as the visual builder would look slightly different on the actual page. That's absolutely true. On the visual builder, sometimes what you see is not actually what's in the actual preview. So that's a very, very good point. So this one here so far, I'll give it a tick. I mean, it has ticked that box, which is very, very good. So let me see if we have more comments here. Wasim says, yes, I see that I was working with the new builder. Okay, fantastic. Russell also says, is the visual builder now 100% accurate also? And the answer to that is no. The visual builder is not 100% accurate as well. So I'm also going to go into the visual builder and take a look at that so we can all see what it looks like. Pak says it's all changed. Yes, it's all changed. But you know what? The change is not too bad, because it's not a change which is going to really get everyone thinking, oh, this is a new learning process. There are slight changes, but these are changes that we can actually implement as we are designing our pages. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through again and take a look at this interface and show you where the major changes are. And then we're going to build a page from scratch and just show you how to do that. Because right now we've just imported a layout from the layout pack library. Okay, so let's switch back over here to the computer and let me show you. Right, so over here, I just want to go through these icons that we have here on the top. So the first one here, the plus one, is used when you want to to add a layout from our pre-made layouts library, or if you have your saved layouts and you want to import those saved layouts, or if you have existing pages. So these are the pages that I have on my site. So you can always come over here once you've saved them, bring them back in, and these are the three tabs that you can use for that. Okay, so currently we've just used the pre-made layout. So I'm going to close this. And the next one here, you can save your design here to the library. And all this is happening from the backend builder. So you can save all this to the library, and save the actual page. So let's try and do that. So I'm going to click here on Save to Library. So as you can see, you can give this layout a name, and you can also create a category if you wanted to, and you can actually save this onto your pages, which we saw here when we came onto the load from library. So all your existing pages will be shown here. Okay, right. So moving on. Now this one here is the portability. So if I click here, you notice that you can export this layout. Okay, so which is fantastic. So Divi Builder layout, let's just call this Mac. I can actually click here. So let's say I want to share this layout with you. I can actually click here and export this layout. It's going to be a JSON file, and then I can share this with you. So this is really, really powerful, and I really like this. Now let's say I've shared this with you. You've got the file now, and you want to import it onto your website. All you do is you click here, and then you select the file, and now you can import the file onto this page or the page that you are working on. Right, so that is really, really cool. Now over here, coming on to the fourth little icon, just keeping an eye here on the comments just to make sure that everything is looking good. Wasim says, can I ask a design question unrelated to today's topic? Yes, you can. So go ahead and ask me. But in the meantime, I'm just going to continue here. Right. So here we also have this little icon. Now, this icon is really important because if you want to see all your changes, it shows you your history. Okay. So if I click on it, it shows me the history here, what I've done at this timestamp. I've moved the blurb, I've edited a section and loaded a page and so on. So you can actually go back to this part here if you want to, if that's where you want to revert to that, if you want to revert to that stage. Okay, so moving on, I'm just going to close this. We also have this trash can or bin. So if you want to get rid of all this, the whole layout, you just click on here and then it just deletes everything here on this page. Now, the next link is actually quite important as well, because you can actually now make some changes to this page. Now, notice that if I click here on the page settings, in fact, let me detach this so we can see it. So here it is. So I've just clicked on the page settings. So notice that I can actually come over here. I can add a color palette. I can select my colors here from the color palette. I can add some spacing to this actual page. And if I resize this, the page settings, you notice that now I have one column, but if I extend it, now I have 3 columns. So that's a really good little thing that we can do here with our page settings. But the most important thing is you can come over here to page. You can give this a page name. You can add your excerpt and also a featured image. So this can be done in the page settings. And notice that whatever we're going to add here is only going to be applied to this particular page, because I'm also going to show you here on the advanced tab that you can actually add custom CSS. So if you want to add specific CSS to this page, you can actually add it right here. Okay. And then here we have the static CSS file generation. I don't normally mess with that. Okay. So back over here to the design, we have the ability to add our colors from our color palette, the spacing, also the text color and so on. And then here on the content, as I mentioned, you can add your title. So notice that if I say Mac new page, okay, that's going to be my new title now. So that's what's going to be updated here on this page. And then if I need to add a featured image, I can just add a featured image from that. Okay, but I'm not going to add a featured image. Okay, so notice that when I save, over here on the top, the name has actually changed, right? So good so far. Now I'm going to go to one of the most important tabs here, and this is the builder settings. So if I click these 3 little dots here, now we have the builder settings. So with the builder settings, we can choose to open the default view to wireframe view, which is where it is right now. But let's say I prefer working in the visual mode. I can just change it here to the desktop view. So every time my page opens, it's going to open in the desktop view, just like this. Okay. And then I can always switch back. So every time I'm going to open a page, it's going to start off with this view. And this view here that we're in, the desktop view, is also a view that we can actually go in and start working. So notice that when I click here on this module settings, right, we have the word here, creative agency, right? So I'm just going to add the word new, right? And notice that it's updating over here, new creative agency. So I don't have to go to the front-end editor to do this. I'm actually making my changes right here, okay? So let's say over here, in fact, this is a very, very common problem. And this is why sometimes I would switch from the visual editor to the wireframe editor before this backend builder was there. So you can see this clearly because let's say I'm trying to add a new row over here. This button here, I can only see half of it. And sometimes it's quite easy to click, right? So what I can do is I can just come over here, switch over to my backend builder, come over here to my section. And now I can just click this plus button, add my section, and then I can start adding all my content if I need to. Okay, so I've just added a contact form there. I'm just going to save this. And then I can just switch back over here to my desktop view. Just like that. Okay, so if I scroll down, now you see I have my form. And then I can continue designing this by going into the row settings, design, and then I can make this full width if I wanted to. And it's actually quite fast. Okay, and then I can delete it as well if I need to delete it. Okay, so far, do you have any questions? Any questions so far on what I've just shown you? Wasim says, how can I achieve this using Divi? I'm actually using Divi, Wasim. All this is being done in Divi. Right. I'm just taking a look at your questions here. Hussein says you're using the wireframe. I'm using the new backend builder. So this is not the, okay, it is the wireframe view, but this is within the new backend builder. So this builder that I'm working on right now is the new backend builder. In fact, to take away the confusion, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to switch over so you can see what the wireframe mode looks like and what the visual editor looks like. So right now, let's all agree that we're in the new Divi backend builder. In fact, I've got some comments coming in here. Hussein says, how does the save work? The button is here on the top. In fact, let me show you. The button is here on the top. So if you design this and click here on save, it saves your layout. I don't know if that answers your question. So if you save, you're saving this layout. Okay. Right. So what I'm going to do now, in fact, let me check if there's any questions. In the wireframe view. So this is the wireframe view. If you want to save in this wireframe view, what you can do is you can actually use the shortcut Command S, because in this wireframe view, let's open something here. Let me go into this text module. So you can design here and then click save. Okay. And if you want to save the page, what I've actually done, or what I normally do, is to either click this button here, which says update. So this updates everything that you're working on here, or you can hit Command S. Okay, that's the shortcut. And as you can see, the update button is being updated, and also the actual builder itself. So you can see now that everything is all updated. So it does the same thing. You can use the shortcut Control S if you're on a PC. If you're on a Mac, it's Command S. So I'm going to do it one more time. Take a look at this button here, which says update. Okay. So that's a valid question because it doesn't say save, but because we're working on this view, you have to click on update. So this is how we normally do it when we use when we used to use WordPress. So every time you edited your page, you have to click update. So that's how you do it. Okay. So take a look at the page one more time. When I hit the shortcut Command S on a Mac, if you're on a PC, it's Control S. So take a look at what happens on the actual button, which says update. You see that? It's loading, and you also have this Divi Builder loading in the middle of the page as well. So that is how you save. Okay, Hussein says that answers my question perfectly. Fantastic. Great. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to switch over now and go to the front-end editor so I can show you the differences. Okay, so I'm going to click here, go to the front-end editor. And this is, by the way, the visual editor. Right. So again, notice that I can go in. I mean, we know how this works anyways. We can come in here. We can snap this to the left, make our changes and so on. So nothing much has really changed here. Okay. But if I want to preview what I'm working on right now, guess what I have to do? I have to save the page and exit the visual builder. So I've just saved it. So I'll have to come over here to the top and click on exit visual builder. Right? So do you see the steps that I have to take to preview my design? So I've saved it. Now I've exited the visual builder. And now for me to continue editing, I have to go back into enable the visual builder. So this is why I was saying the new backend builder has a much better workflow. You can actually go in there and you can actually work faster because you don't have to save the page, exit the visual builder, and then come back in. Now, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, you want me to check the pad and the phone? Okay, fine. Over here, you can click on expand settings, and then you can click all the way down here to the left. If you click the tablet view, there we go. That's the tablet view. Okay, and then also there's the phone view. So that's how you would do it. So Wayne, does that answer your question? Wayne, can you let me know if that answers your question? Okay, so I'm going to click back over here. Now, when I started using this, I thought that the backend builder and the wireframe mode are the same thing. But you know what? It's actually different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here. If you can't see my mouse, I'm right on my bottom left of the screen. If I click here on the wireframe view, you notice that the icons actually look the same as in the backend builder, but it's not the same thing. So if I click here on wireframe view, right, you notice that it's different. I don't have the icons there on the top for me to do a preview to switch to my desktop view quickly. Because here, if I go to my desktop view, it's the front-end editor. Okay? And if I come back over here, it's actually different as compared to the new backend builder. The new backend builder has more features. You can actually add your layouts. There's icons there on the top. So it's actually quite, it's quite similar in the way it's designed, but on the backend builder, it has more buttons on there and it's much easier to follow when you use the backend builder. Okay, right. So I hope that you see the difference between the wireframe mode, the backend builder, and the new backend builder. Right. So I'm going to switch back over here to my desktop mode, to my front-end editor. So I need to leave this and go back to my page. So I'm going to click here on Edit Page. So this is now the difference. So here, if I come to my wireframe mode, I have all these buttons here I can work with in the builder. And if I need to do any previews, I can just come over here quickly and do my preview. And as I mentioned before, this preview here is pixel perfect. This is the actual view that I would see when I preview my page on my browser. Okay, so it's pixel perfect. No need to add those extra steps to see how this looks like. Okay, so I hope we are all on the same page. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to attempt to build a brand new page from scratch using this new Divi backend builder. Okay. So far, are we all on the same page? Is there anything I need to explain with the new backend builder? And let's do a vote. Who thinks that the new backend builder is actually better than working in the visual builder and the wireframe mode? So if you like the new backend builder, just add a 1. If you prefer the old way of doing things, just add a 2, please. I'm just curious to see what you guys think. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 1s. Russell, you're cheating because you're the only one adding the 1s. Okay, I see JR, Toran. Okay. Hussein saying, Wasim. Famin, okay. Wasim, okay, I see quite a lot of 1s as well. Toran. Okay, come on, guys. There is about 34 of you in the room. Let me see what you guys think. Do you prefer, okay, Radapula says 50-50, okay. What do you guys think? We need more votes. I just want to have an idea of how many actually think that this is a better way or a better workflow. Tom Davidson, 3. What's the 3 then? Is that a 50-50? Right. Okay, so Russell here says loves the update. Okay, that's great. Kirk says I think it's better. Okay, Samantha says love the update. Okay, great. Fantastic. So what we're going to attempt to do now is to build a page using the new backend builder. Now, I haven't done this before. I haven't practiced this. So what you're going to see me doing is real life. I haven't practiced this, okay? So you're going to see me go through the whole process of actually building this page. So it's going to be quite interesting. Okay, so are you ready for this? I hope this new backend builder does not embarrass me. Right, okay. Yes, Russell says I can now build 75% faster. That's cool. Samantha says my internet connection is rubbish, so I can see it'll be a huge benefit. Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you. If you can all do everything all in one window, I'm up for that. Because I don't like the idea of designing and now it's time to see the preview of how it looks in the browser. You have to save, exit the Visual Builder, and then enter the Visual Builder, go in, make some changes. That's just too many clicks. So now that I can see my design pixel perfect, it can't be better than that. So let's put this to the challenge. I'm going to design a new layout from scratch, and let's see if this is going to work. All right, I'm going to switch over here to my computer, and let's take a look. Right. So I'm going to get rid of this page. So I'm going to use the tools that I actually have here on this backend builder. So I'm going to come over here and delete. Okay, so I'm just going to click the trash can, clear layout. Yes. Okay, everything is gone now. As you can see, okay, there's nothing there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look for a good image to start off with because I want to have a hero image. So I'm going to click this plus button here and open a new tab. So I normally go to Pixabay for my images. So I'm just going to come over here to Pixabay. And let's choose an image to use. So, right. I'm not sure what theme I could go with here. What can I design? What page can we design? Okay, let's add this one here. Okay, so I'm going to go with this image. And then here, I'm going to click on free download. Okay, that's the size I need. I'm going to click on download. So now that's being downloaded on my computer. So we also need a few images to go with this layout. So I'm going to go back over here and just look at images that just match that design. So let's see what else we can use. So usually when I prepare this ahead of time, it's easier because I know what images I'm going to use. So what I'm just going to search for here is just the word happy, and let's see what comes out. Okay, so we have this image here. Let's go with this one here. Download. Okay, this time I need 1280. Okay, so I've downloaded that. Let's choose another one. So we have, okay, this one is quite cute. Let's go with this one here. I'm going to download that one too. So we need about 3 to add. Okay, let's go with this one here. This one here has a holiday theme to it. So let's see. All right, let's go with that as well. And let's just do one more just in case. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down and let's go with this one here. Right, so we've got 4 images that we're going to use. Click on download. Right, okay. Now I have all my images. That's great. So I'm going to switch back over here and let's start adding our layout. So I'm going to click here on this plus button and I need a full width section. So I'm going to click here on full width and I need full width header. Okay, I'm going to go with full width header. Right, so I'm going to open a new tab here and add my lorem text. So I normally use a website called Lorem 2. So that's what I use to add my dummy text. So I'm going to start by copying my text over here. So I'm just going to be going back and forth, copying and pasting my text. So this is going to be my text here. I'm going to go with. Right. So the next stage now, in fact, let me add a title. So I'm just going to copy this as my title. And then I'm going to paste it in here. I hope you can see this. I know my screen is a bit too small, but I hope you can see what I'm adding here. I'm actually going to try and improve this because I know this could be actually better. Okay. Right. So I've moved all my settings over here to the right, by the way, if you're following this. Right. I'm just going to drag this so you can see more of it. Right. So all my changes now are going to be appearing over here. So the next thing I'm going to do is we can see we have this white space here. I don't need this. So I'm just going to delete this. Okay. Now, the next stage is to add a background. So I can either add my background image over here. So I'm going to click on my third tab. Click this plus button to add my image. And I'm going to click upload files and then go to my folder where I downloaded all my files. Okay, so I think it's because I'm in full screen mode. That's why it's not opening. Oh, in fact, it does. Okay, I'm going to come over here to my downloads and I'm just going to select all my images. And by the way, this is a very cool trick. If you want to, instead of downloading one image at a time, just highlight all of them, click open. So what's going to happen now is they're all loaded onto my media library. I see here I've got a question. Let me just address that. Wasim says, what is that effect called? I'm not sure what the effect you're describing. Wasim, can you rephrase your question? I'm not sure what effect you're asking. All right, so now that I have all my images, I'm going to click now on upload an image. Okay, so no, that didn't work. So I'm going to click this plus button again, select my image, upload an image. So now my image is uploaded and now it's not showing because I have a color here. Oh, in fact, the color is gone. So what happened? Okay, let's delete that. Update this. Okay, now that is strange because I've just added my image. I'm sure you all saw me adding my image, but for some reason, my image is not showing. Okay, let me just delete this for now. Okay, we're going to come back to this. Right, anyway, I'm going to save this. There's also another way of adding my image here. So I'm going to come over here to my module settings. I'm going to click on background. I'm going to delete this. Wow, this is strange. Everything I'm trying to do here is not working. Okay, let me try and add my image again here. Okay, there we go. Right, so I've just added my image here in the background. So that's looking good. Right, so the next thing I want to do now is to come over here to design. Now, do you see where it says scroll down icon? I can actually come over here and add a scroll down icon. So you can see now it's just appeared. And also, I'm just going to toggle this. I'm going to come over here to layout and I can also make this full screen. Okay, so now my layout is actually full screen. And you can see here in this preview that this actually looks really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this so you can actually see the full preview. In fact, that has not been saved, which is quite annoying. So I'm going to save that and then I'm going to go back to my settings. Right, so you can see here, I couldn't find my settings icon, so I've just come back to my module settings. So now I can click here, and that has taken me back. And to go to my preview, I'm just going to click on that. Okay, so now I can go in and take a look at what is happening here. So I think when I edited this, my image was not updated, and I didn't save. So that is something I need to continue doing. In fact, let me go with this different one. Click upload. So now my image is in there. Click on design, layout, full screen. Now you have to be very careful with this because as you've noticed, I clicked save, but I did not actually save the actual page. Okay, so now let's continue designing this. So for some reason, I don't have access to my settings here to edit this page. Okay, maybe it's because I'm in preview mode. I don't know. So I'm just going to save this. Come back over here to my wireframe mode. And then click here on this gear icon to go into my settings. And then I'm going to view the page again. Okay, so this is working now. Perfect. So the trick here is to make sure that you save. Okay, right. So as you can see, I haven't even left this screen yet. All my troubleshooting, everything that's happening is happening on this page, which is fantastic. Right. So the next thing we're going to do now is to play around with our text and make it look beautiful. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and make this bold. So I'm going to increase my size like that. Okay, let's make it 60. Okay, and we're going to change this text to Poppins. Okay, and we also need to make this, let's say, ultra bold. So we want this really nice and bold. In fact, maybe that's a bit too much. Let's go with bold. Okay, right. So now that we have this on bold, let's come to the description text over here. So I'm going to click here on this little brush tool, and we're going to increase our size to about 22. And we are also going to change this to semi-bold and change the font to Poppins. Okay, so far so good. What we need to do next is to add some line height. So 1.6 looks great. And then finally, what I'm going to do now, as you can see, this line here is going well across the screen. Now, that is not good design. What you need to do is just make sure that this is the right size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to sizing, okay? And then I'm going to reduce my width. Oh, not that one. is the top one, content width, okay? So notice what's happening here. My content width is being reduced, so I'm going to leave it at 50%. Right, so that's looking good. Now, as you can see, my text here with the background is really clashing. I can't read what is happening here. And I'm sure you can all agree with me that it's quite difficult to read over here. Okay, so how can we resolve this? So to resolve that, what I need to do now is to come back over here to content, click on background, and then I'm going to come over here on the gradient tool, the gradient tab. So I'm going to add a gradient, and I'm going to place this gradient above the image. So this button here is very, very important. Okay, so if you do that, it places the gradient above the image. But now this is time to play around with our colors. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to choose some nice colors here. And my second color, maybe that's a bit too much. Now, do you notice that I've just added an overlay on that image? Okay, so this is something that you can do, you can play around with, and this now stretches your imagination. So if you have a color palette that has this warm color, you can make all your images look like that. And this is now easier to read. But if you want to be a bit more dramatic, you can make this black, right? And then you can come over here and play around with the gradient direction. Okay, so you can see here, I've just added my direction. And I can add my start and end position, as you can see. Okay, so over here on my color, in fact, let's make it dark and let's reverse this. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this over here to the left. So 90 degrees should be fine. Okay, so 90 degrees. And then I can change my start and end position. Now, do you see that I've added more darkness over here to the left so that my text is easier to read? Now, this is a very, very important graphic design tip. Okay, you want to make sure that whatever titles you're adding here is easy to read. So that's what I've just done here. But as I mentioned, you can play around with this. You know, you can be very creative with this. I'm going to add some warmth into that, maybe a bit of orange. So now we have two colors there. I can also adjust my end position like that. Okay, I can also reduce the intensity of this black that I have over here. So if I click on the color, I can actually drag the slider down like that. And you can see I can show a little bit more of the image and still be able to read what is there. Okay, so what do you guys think? So I'm going to save this for now. So that's going to be our hero image. Ratapula says there's some issues there with the mode. What is the issue with the mode? Ratapula, I'd like to know. I also have a comment here which says, can you apply background color to the text only? Okay, let's go in and try that. So what I'm going to do here to get my settings, because remember, this is the preview mode. I want to come back over here, go into my settings, module settings, and then I'm going to go back to my desktop view. Now to add the background color, right, I can't do that because this actual module here is for the full header. But there's another way to do this, and I can show you how. So let me add a brand new section. So as you can see here, I don't see my buttons here, but that's fine because we have all the modes here. So I'm going to add a new section here, and it's going to be a regular section. And then I'm going to drag this to the top. Okay, like that. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to click here on this gear icon to enter my section settings. Click on background. And then I'm going to come over here and click on add. No, in fact, I need to add an image. So I'm going to click here on the third tab, click this plus button. And now let's add our image. And we've just uploaded it. So I'm going to go with the same image, upload an image. And then now I'm going to add my sections. So I'm going to click here on add new row. And I'm just going to add 2 equal ones. And then over here, I'm going to add a call to action. I'm going to add it just like that. And then I'm going to switch over here to my desktop view. Okay, so now I can see on my desktop view. Great. So let's try and replicate this using what is that Ahmed who asked the questions? Yes, doing what Ahmed asked me to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over here to my desktop view, and then in my call to action, I'm going to come over here to background, use background color. Yes, I'm going to add my my color here. So I'm going to start with black. I'm going to make it quite extreme. And then on the text here, I'm going to add a title. So let me just add random text here. I'm also going to add some lorem 2 text. So I'm just going to copy it from here, just like that. And then I'm going to paste it. Okay. So basically, I'm trying to replicate what we have here. So I've just pasted my text. That's looking great. And now I'm going to switch. In fact, we need a link to the button. So I'm going to add a button link URL just like that. And now let's do a quick preview. So now we can see we have some text here with our background image. So what I'm also going to do here is I'm going to add, in fact, let me save this. Okay, I'm going to go into my section settings and I'm going to add margins below this so that we can see the difference between the two. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to spacing and add a margin bottom, and we can also use this dial. So you can see here I'm adding, I'm just trying to distinguish these two. Okay, right. So now that I have this, all I have to do now is to go in and start making my changes. So I'm going to save this for now. I'm going to go back into my module settings here and then click on design text, and we're going to make sure that this is aligned left. Right, so all I have to do now is to go into design and then change my titles, increase my size, change the size to pop-ins, make this bold. And then I'm going to come over here, change my body text size as well, maybe to 20. Regular, we're going to make this semi-bold, and this is also going to be pop-in. So pretty much we're trying to replicate what we have here on the bottom, okay? And then we're also going to add some line height. So I think it was 1.6 that we added before. Right, so as you can see here, our box here that we have is a bit too small. So what I'm going to do is save this, and then I'm going to come over here into my row settings, and we are going to make this full width. So I'm going to click here on alignment. No, in fact, on sizing, make this full width. Okay, so now it's full width. So the only thing that we're missing here is the button. Okay, so let's fix that. So I'm going to save this. Then I'm going to come over here into my module settings. Click here on link, button URL. I'm going to add my button. Now we have a button there. Okay. So it's pretty much similar to what we have here on the bottom, but the difference now is we have a background color onto that text. So finally, what you need to do is to go in. In fact, let's save. We're going to go into the section settings, and then we're just going to add some padding. So I'm going to click here on design, spacing, and then we're just going to add some padding, both the top and the bottom. So I'm going to activate my chain, and then I'm just going to drag this until I can see my image. And there we go. Okay, so now we have text. Wasim says, can't post a link in here in the live chat. I'm not sure. What link are you trying to post? Wasim, what link are you trying to post? Oh, in fact, I can. I noticed that you've sent something here. Let me show it. It's from Theme Forest, actually. Okay, I'm just taking a look at what you've sent here from Theme Forest. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this to the screen so we can all see it. Okay, so let me switch over here to my desktop. So Wasim, this is what you've sent. Okay, so is there, what did you want to say about this layout, Wasim? Okay, the effect using the mouse and the chopping board. Okay, let me see the effect. Where is the effect? That effect? I can't see it here. I can't see the effect. Maybe it's an animation. Let me refresh the page. Maybe I've missed something. Do you mean the animation that has just happened, where it was sliding up? Oh, I see what you mean. Like when I move my mouse over like this and it's shaking. Okay, I'm not sure how this was created. It could be that there's some JavaScript that was applied specifically to this slider, but the animations can be achieved using Divi itself. The animations can be achieved using Divi, but this effect here, I think this is probably a JavaScript effect. If there's any programmers there in the box, please correct me if that's correct. or tell me if this is not correct. But I think this is some JavaScript there. But I also need to also mention that some of these effects, although they are quite good and they may seem quite flashy, you also have to realize that it's very important to try and design your websites in such a way that usability is the main thing rather than all these animations. Because if you notice, even on my own websites, I use very little or even no animation because I want the experience to be more of a workflow where it's much easier for people to navigate around my content rather than all these animations and all that kind of stuff. Because I don't think, it could be, something that is going to be better or that's going to better your website. I don't necessarily think so, because if you take a look at these top websites, even Apple, the Apple.com and all these top design companies, they focus on usability, okay, and how the user actually flows on that page. So I wouldn't spend too much time in trying to achieve these little effects, but rather make it easier for people to navigate around your website much easier. And also even the message itself, make it easier for the message to be followed and easily to be read. Okay, so I think that will be more important. But if you really, really want that effect, that can't be achieved using Divi. It can be achieved by adding some JavaScript onto that because it's a mouse effect. Okay, it's a mouse effect. If it was just plain animation, this could be something that could be done using Divi. I hope that answers that question. Okay, let's see. Renee has got a very good question here saying, can you show the best way to get your body font and settings to apply to all sites? Apply to all sites, do you mean like all different screen sizes as in desktop, tablet, and mobile phone? Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean? Okay. Right. So I'm just going to close this for now. Right. So let me just fix this because I don't want to leave this where it is because that doesn't look complete. Right. So I'm just going to save this. So I hope you can see how I've added that color. So this could be the design that you want to go with. But as I mentioned, the most important thing is this is pixel perfect. And as you can see, I haven't exited this builder. So everything is being done right in here. Okay. And if you want to go in and make further adjustments. So let's say you want to work on the background image. Again, you can just click on background and add the same effect on our image. So I'm just going to go back over here to my desktop mode, click this plus button, and I can add my colors. But before I do that, I prefer clicking here on place gradient above background image and then play around with the colors. And sometimes what I could even do here is to add a blending mode. So if I come over here on the image tab, I can actually come down here to image and blend, and then I could just try these and look at how beautiful that is, you know. And then over here, you can play around with the slider now and change the direction of where you want this to come from. So you can see here on the top, it's nice and yellow, but on the bottom here, it's blue where the water is. So this is something that you can use to enhance your designs. So if I come back over here, I mean, this is multiply. You can use darken and see how that looks. So that could be maybe a look that you'd like to go with, but you can also play around with this. No, that one is really bad. You know, lighten, not too good, not too good. Color dodge, that's even worse. Right, but anyway, the most important thing here is to play around with these colors and see which one works for you, okay? Soft light, that one is quite nice as well. It's very subtle. But as you can see, you know, you can play around with these. This one's a bit darker, but you can play around with these modes. But if you don't want to do that and you want to specifically go in and play around with the sliders, you can also do that by just clicking the slider down and showing a bit of that image like that. Okay, and also your message here shows really well. So that is how you can do this. And as you can see here, that's the main sort of like difference. But either way, it works very fine. Renee, you say all your page or all your website pages you don't have to set up. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Wasim says whole website. Guys, can you just post the full question so I can have the context of that question, please? It makes things easier. Okay. Right, so I think I'll leave this design as it is. Okay, so let's say we choose to go with the one on the bottom. I'm just going to come over here to the top. Click here on, in fact, I have to save this first. And then I can just disable this. Click on advanced, visibility, and then I'm just going to disable this for now. Okay, so when I do my preview now, I will only see this one here. Okay. Renee, very good question. And the question is, So if I set up my body font to Open Sans Light, will it be able to apply to all my text on all pages? I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. If you do it right now on the single page that you're working on, it won't apply to the whole website. Okay, you have to do this in the theme settings. You have to do it in the theme settings. So I'm going to show you in a minute how you do that. But it's a very, very good question. Okay, where do we add the global settings? Okay, that question is clear now. Thank you very much. Right, so okay, Agante also specifies exactly what it's meant. Okay, Samantha, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a good day. See you again on Saturday if you're available. But good to see you. Okay, so let's head over to the theme settings, and I'll show you how to set your global settings. Okay, so I'm going to switch over here to my desktop, and let's go to our global settings. Right. So to go to your global settings, in fact, let's save this. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here to my desktop mode. And then we are going to okay, let's cancel this. Let's save and exit. Ahmed, good to see you as well. See you on Saturday if you're available. All right, take care. Right, so if you want to apply all your settings to across the whole website, what you need to do is to come over here to theme options. So you go to Divi. No, not theme options. It's theme customizer. You see this live, you can't actually go back in and edit. Okay, so it's theme customizer, not theme options. Okay, right. So over here, what you need to do is to come over here to general settings, typography, and this is where you can start adjusting all your fonts. So the body text size, you can adjust that to 16. So you can see here in the preview the size as I'm increasing it. So let's make it 17. Line height 1.7 is fine. Header size 30. So you can increase that to maybe even 32 if you wanted to. And these are the defaults, by the way. Okay, so header font size, we can make this bold if you need to, or all caps. So every time you add a header font style, it's going to be bold and all caps. And this is throughout the whole website. Okay, now the header default font theme, this is where now we can get to choose our theme. And these are the Google fonts. And one thing that Elegant Themes could actually do here is to maybe give us a preview of how these fonts could look like, because these are all Google fonts. But because I know what font I need to go with, I'm just going to search for Poppins, and I am going to select it from here, and here it is, Poppins. And then my body font, I can also choose that from here, and again, it's going to be Poppins. Okay, here it is, Poppins. Great. And we can also change the body color here, but I think we're good with what we've done so far. Now let's click on Publish, and we can just exit out of this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here to all pages. In fact, I'm going to add a new page, and let's just call this fonts. Okay, use the Divi Builder. Right, so now we have, in fact, we have to choose build from scratch. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add 2 columns, just like that. And then in this left one, I'm going to add a text module. So now you can see, and I know this because my font here is Poppins, and I know this is Poppins, so it's just changed from the default font to Poppins now. And what I can also do here is if I come into my text here, highlight it, and make this into a heading 2, for example, do you notice now it's all caps? That's because I set it as all caps when in my default theme options. Okay, and then you can just continue adding, everything else. So here, let's say we need to add an image. We can just go ahead, add our image over here. So maybe let's go with this time. Let's go with this one. Upload an image. Okay. And then we can preview the different modes, and it looks fine. Now, there's one thing I also want to talk to you about, and that is in these different modes, make sure that you adjust your size so that it looks beautiful on all screens. So far this looks really nice. That's fine. But this is something that you may need to do if you're going in and making further adjustments. But this is how easy it is to add your text, sizes, and the text font to apply across the website. Okay, I'm going to take a look at some questions here. And the question here is, can I upload my own fonts in the global setting? There is a way of doing it in the global setting, but I haven't done that yet directly. So this is something that I may want to take a look at. In fact, let me write it down. Upload text settings. I mean, fonts. What am I talking about? Getting tired. Right, fonts. Okay, I'll take a quick look at that, and I could do a tutorial because I think that'll be really great. Because if you have a specific font that you want to use and you upload it by default to apply to the whole website, that is awesome because it saves you a lot of work. But I do know that you can actually add your own font in the builder itself. So I'm not sure if that can be applied to the whole site. I'll need to go in and just double check that. So don't quote me on that. But I know you can add fonts into the builder itself. Okay. Right. Any more questions? Any more questions? Kirk says, do you think it's important to stick with Google Fonts? Yes, I think it's important and it's safe because Google Fonts are free to use. So if you were to download a font, your own font, or that you've bought, you really have to take a look at the licensing because you could get sued because you might not have used that licensing correctly. So Google Fonts are safe because, and it loads faster as well because they're not installed on your actual computer or website they pulled from the Google repository. So those are safe and they're actually quite good now because there's quite a lot of them to use. So as designers, this is a fantastic resource for us. So I would say, yes, go ahead using Google Fonts. Right. Agante says in Germany, because of GDPR, we better upload any fonts instead of Google Fonts. Really? I didn't know that. So can you expand on that, Agante, and let us know what it is that you have to do in Germany? Do you mean that you have to download the font from Google to your computer first and then upload it onto Divi? What do you mean in regards to the GDPR? Because I'm not very aware. I'm not aware of that, to be honest. Renee also says, what can you customize with Divi and WooCommerce? Oh, there's a lot you can customize. In fact, why don't we do that for our future live workshops where we can just focus on WooCommerce and then just do a bunch of work on WooCommerce. Are you guys okay with that? Maybe focus on WooCommerce instead for upcoming sessions. I'm happy to do that. Toronto hotspots. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. All right. I think that'll be cool. Let me make a note of it. WooCommerce. Okay. Right. So we can add that to one of our live sessions, which is cool. Shanur says, when will the new course come? Right. In fact, I don't think I can show you here actually because it's on my Trello account, but I've actually started laying out the syllabus of the web design formula. This is going to be the flagship course for Mac University. So I don't want to promise a date yet, but so far I've put together the syllabus of the three main modules or sections that are in the course. So I still need to add more information on that, and I will share with this with you guys in the Slack channel. But the recordings are going to start this weekend. So this weekend I'm going to start doing the recordings, and you're going to see me adding them onto the membership website. So do hang on there. It's definitely going to be in there. And for all you guys that are members of Mac University, you'll be getting this course absolutely free. But I'm telling you, this course is going to be awesome. I'm not just saying this, but as a designer, you're going to be fascinated by how you can start applying basic design principles. It's not going to be a crazy advanced course. It's those little design principles that you can apply to your design to make things change. I mean, I've done fine art, and I can tell you sometimes little strokes that you do on a painting can make a big difference. So this is what I'm bringing to the world of web design. There's certain things like maybe just changing the contrast in your image, maybe changing the way you crop the image using the rule of thirds. Those things can make a big difference, and I will show you in this course what I mean by that. And something else to also look forward to is the new 2019 web design formula. So for those of you that are new to Divi, the course will be coming out soon because the one in the library right now is very old. So the brand new one will be coming out. And also, and this is very important, the web design mastery, the WordPress course, it will also be coming out very soon because now that we have WordPress 5 and Gutenberg, of course, everything has changed. So the current course has to be updated now. So there's a lot to look forward to. So I'll just be balancing our things so that I push information out there so that we keep the whole library busy and to keep everyone going in there and taking on these courses. Okay, so look forward to that. Those are the three main ones I'm working on. But as I said, I'm going to announce the web design formula very, very soon. But it's going to be released in modules for the members. But for anyone that wants to buy it outside the membership, there's going to be a pre-sale discount price on it where you can buy it with a discount and then wait until it's produced. So that's what's going to happen. But for all you members, you don't need to worry because all these courses are going to be absolutely free. All right. Any more questions in here? Any more questions? We've already exceeded an hour over here. Renee says, I think my account and basket site can't be customized much. It can be. No, the account and the basket. Yes. With Divi, we don't have access to edit and customize everything. But what I will do is I'll see if we have enough time to do the WooCommerce this Saturday. If not, we can do it next Wednesday. But I'm going to do as much research as I can and also talk to the developers at Elegant Themes and see how much we can edit so I can go into this live stream prepared to answer any questions. But right now, I can't think off of my head if that can be done or not. But I'll take a quick look and I will let you know if that can be done. Rito, good to see you. Right. I didn't realize you're on the live stream actually. Okay, great. Right. There's one thing that I think is actually really disappointing about these live streams because I really like the features that Crowdcast brings, because you are notified when I'm about to go live, and you can also subscribe to Crowdcast. But the fact that we can't make it live, that's pretty annoying because I would have loved to do it on Crowdcast because we can have polls on there. We can make it even more interactive. But on YouTube, sometimes people don't get the notifications. Sometimes they do. So it's very hard to tell if everyone is getting my messages, and I can't control anything. So this is why I was really trying to push this Crowdcast to work. But if it's going to give us problems like this, then it's going to be very difficult. So what I'm going to do on Saturday is one more time, I'm going to do the stream only on Crowdcast. Maybe it could be a bandwidth issue because there's someone, I forgot who it was, that mentioned that multi-streaming could be actually causing the blurriness. So on Saturday, I'm going to do it on Crowdcast. So please, once I send an email out, if you're on the mailing list, if you're a member, or you've signed up onto the WordPress course, you will get this notification because I'm going to send it via email. Okay, I'm going to send it out via email, and it's also going to be on the Slack channel. So please keep an eye on the Slack channel. Keep an eye on your email because I'll be announcing it ahead of time, probably 3 days ahead of time. And let's have the live on there, but not on YouTube. And let's see how that looks. If that is bad, I think that's going to be the final straw, okay? We can just abandon it 100%. But I do like the features that it brings and the fact that I can actually make it private for the lifetime members as well. So I can make some sessions actually private for lifetime members. Whereas on YouTube, I can't actually do that. So I really need this tool to work. So please just bear with me. I know it can be very frustrating and I can only apologize, but I'm just trying to get the best way I can provide support and masterminds and workshops for the live members. Because remember, these workshops are supposed to also benefit the live members and the Mac University members. So I need to find a way to provide all this content only to the members. Okay, and then the regular live streams, I can always do that on YouTube. So if you can just give me one more chance on Saturday, I'm going to try and broadcast just to Crowdcast. And I'm going to try and see how that works. If it's still blurry and we're still having problems with it, then you know what? We might as well forget it, and then find another solution. So I hope you can be patient with me. And I'm really sorry about, the glitches that are happening. Sometimes, this is beyond my control and there's nothing I can do. All right, I can see a lot of questions coming through here. Let me see. Shanu, you say 2 layouts every week. Now, you do also need to realize that this week we're talking about, there was the release of Gutenberg. I cannot release a layout which is not compatible because it's going to be a waste of my time and a waste of your time. So please be patient. I know that this needs to come out, and I'm sure you can all understand that prior to Gutenberg, we did not know how things are working. And even right now, things are still glitchy, Even today, I was showing you how to use the backend builder. It's not working with Gutenberg activated. So I cannot create layouts before everything is working fine because it won't work for you anyways. And then you're going to come back to me for support and say to me, Mac, your layouts don't work and all of that. So let us be patient and make sure that Divi and WordPress 5 is working fine, and then I can start releasing those layouts. So, I hadn't mentioned this because I thought maybe everyone would understand that this was the release of Gutenberg and also the latest update from Divi. So they're not layouts because they're going to have issues, or they're going to be incompatibility issues. So that is why I've held off doing that. And I've tried to compensate that by putting in some courses, which I hadn't even announced ahead of time, like the ConvertKit course. So, and also these live streams. So I hope you feel like I am doing something to the members. But if this is how everyone feels, that you expect, the layouts, even though Divi and Gutenberg is not as stable yet, then, just let me know, send me an email, and then I can, do these layouts anyway. So how does everyone else feel about this? Do you feel like you should get these layouts even though things are not stable? Because I don't even know if the portability option works. I have no idea because things are quite new. Even on my own website, I haven't even updated, a lot of these features. All this stuff I'm doing is on my demo site. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you just need all these layouts as they are without me testing it on a proper system? Or should we wait until Gutenberg and WordPress is actually stable enough for us to say, okay, now we can have layouts? What do you guys think? Add your comments in the comments box. Toronto Hotspots, these sessions are so helpful. Okay, thank you. Okay, Agante says Zoom works very stable. Okay, let me make a note of that. Zoom. Okay. Toronto Hotspots also says we can start fresh once the dust has settled. In January 2019, troubleshooting releases together is knowledge as well. That's what I think is the way forward, because if the dust settles, then it's easier for me now to say, guys, I got this layout, try it out, add it on, and it's going to be very easy to use. But right now it is a bit buggy. Even when I was doing this demo, I could see sometimes when I save something or when I tried to add a color, there were some glitches when I was working on this layout today on this live stream. So I can see there's a few things that are not really working fine, but we don't know to what extent these are. And we haven't even activated Gutenberg on this. We are still using the classic editor. So I think waiting until the dust settles, as Toronto Hotspot said, could be the way forward. But let's hear what others are saying in the comments. Kirk says, you're teaching us how to fish. Rito also says, wait till it's stable. Yes, I agree with you. Kirk also has a good comment here saying, do not focus on the layouts right now. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. Oh, look, Toronto Hotspots here says, saving in the new Divi release is hit and miss. My layouts got screwed up bad. Right, so this is what I'm talking about. Creating a layout and then I send it out there and then it causes a lot of problems. This is going to be a lot of frustrations on your side because you're expecting it to work. And then on my side, it's more frustrations because I have to now start attending the support. And if I spend 2 days without responding, you guys are going to be upset with me. So I think let's wait until the dust is settled. In the meantime, let's work through all these changes together. And let me show you, like those tips and techniques of what we can do now, what's to come, and what we can achieve on the current stuff that we have. Because I can see a lot coming out of this, and it's going to be very, very exciting, to be honest. And I'll be sharing with you everything that I'll be planning behind the scenes as well, so you won't be left out. Okay? Right. You see, Ratapula also says, I've used several plugins, but none of them has worked for me the way I want. Yes. Agantis also says, wait till it's stable. Okay, that's great feedback. Thank you very much for your feedback. Yeah, there's quite a few things that are not working. Now, just as a separate question, what do you guys think about Gutenberg? I'm releasing a video out today on the future of page builders. In fact, you know what? Let me hear your thoughts first. If you've tried out Gutenberg, let me know what you think. And then before we close this, I'm going to give you my views of the future of page builders and what impact WordPress 5 and Gutenberg has when it comes to page builders and how we're going to design websites. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think. So post it in the comments box below. Let me see what you guys think about the new Gutenberg editor. And let's discuss this, because this is going to shape the future of how we're going to design websites moving forward. That's good. Agante says Gutenberg has a lot of promise, but needs time to grow. I agree 100% with that. Toronto Hotspots also says, I love the possibilities that blocks are going to bring in the native WordPress, but how page builder creators are going to implement into their frameworks. Okay. Ratipula says, I think the developers of Gutenberg have taken it out very soon. Okay, that's a fair point. Kirk says, it seems like the concept of blocks is really powerful, but just the beginning. That's good. Okay, anyone else wants to comment about Gutenberg? Anyone else? What do you guys think about Gutenberg? And then I will give you my thoughts on that. Okay, JR says Gutenberg is a bit late. Page builder occupies already the space. Yes, that's a very good comment as well, and a very good assessment. Okay, let's have one more, and then I will give you my thoughts on Gutenberg. Okay, looks like no one else wants to comment. Okay, so I've actually created a video about this, so I'll just summarize. Okay. Toronto Hotspots, that's a very, very good point as well. Toran says, looking at other CMSs, in case it doesn't pan out. Toronto Hotspot says, but I love Themify. Right. Okay. So here are my thoughts on Gutenberg. Now, to be honest with you guys, when I was playing around with Gutenberg, I was actually amazed. I don't know if you saw my videos. I was actually amazed because it makes things so much easier for anyone that wants to just use just WordPress out of the box. No doubt. I mean, this improvement is so well executed. It's amazing, right? So if you try to maybe add a image side by side in the old, we're talking about WordPress now. We're not talking about the builders yet. Just normal WordPress. You install WordPress and you try to put images side by side. That's almost impossible. In fact, it's impossible unless you go into some code and CSS and all of that, which the normal user couldn't be able to do. But what they have done now with the blocks, it's like Lego. That's how I look at it. You just take a block, you put it there, another block, you put it there, and that's how you're building your website. Now, that is a massive shift. The more I used it, I realized that, wow, this is actually similar to what page builders do, like Divi, because you can drag and drop, you can copy and paste, you can save blocks. The wording here is slightly different. So blocks are pretty much the same as modules in Divi. So it was quite fascinating that there was so much similarities. And then I went to listen to the State of the Word by the creator and founder of WordPress, Matt, give his speech. And they are also working on a theme builder and also the header and footer. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is going to be direct competition now to page builders. However, although it's going to be a competition to page builders, it's still very far from being a fully fledged page builder that we have today, as some of you have commented in the comments box. But in terms of what it has implemented, it is fantastic. It is amazing. It's really, really good for the normal average user. Maybe it could be a small business that want to just create a basic quick website. Now they can do it themselves. Just dragging and dropping the header, the image, the gallery, done. Video, done. You know, no need to code. It's just drag and drop. So I can see them taking a market share, but not really from the page builders, because I don't think anyone is going to leave a Bentley or Rolls-Royce to go into a BMW. I don't think so, because why would anyone who knows the potential of Divi, which I think, this is my opinion, there's 500,000 users out there that use Divi, in fact, close to 1 million. With the power of Divi, why would anyone go back to the page builder? I don't think so. However, I think the future people that are coming in that want to design websites, they now have a very solid option of saying, I'll just drag and drop here in Gutenberg and I'm happy. I don't need all these fancy designs, animations, and dynamic content. I don't need all of that. I just need a basic 3-page website for my business and that's it. You are going to have those people that are not going to need page builders. So this, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, in my opinion, this is going to leave a gap between people that want to design professional looking websites to one side and those that want to just build basic websites to one side. So that's going to be the major divide. So those with Divi or any other page builders, they are going to advance. They are going to be much better and much better, right? And this is where you're going to see the distinction between well-executed websites and those that are trying to design. So that's how I see the future going. But I don't see current users of Divi going back to the Gutenberg. I don't see that happening. But future designers, I think they will be more likely going to just go with the Gutenberg. But if Divi or all these other page builders do a very good marketing campaign and raise awareness on why you can do so much with Divi as compared to Gutenberg, then they can still attract those people that appreciate design, appreciate great design. So I think that there's still a lot of potential there. It's just the marketing angle that needs to be taken moving forward. But that's my sort of like view. In fact, my son now, my 10-year-old son, I've actually told him to start designing using Gutenberg and show me what he can do. And to my surprise, it's amazing. They're so creative with it. It's like Lego. That's how I describe it. But the future is good because $89 for a theme that can give you header and footer designs, theme builder, dynamic content, and all of that, that's not too expensive. I know it may be, I mean, depending on where you are in the world, but it's not too bad. $89 for all of that plus the support. I don't see why anyone would be attracted to go to Gutenberg. But as I said, this is a very good starting point for anyone that wants to just dip their toe into web design. That's my take on that. Right, let's hear, I can see some comments have come in here. Yes, Toronto Hotspots, that's a very good point. You say here Gutenberg also serves as the base for WordPress.com and the ease of entry means more business. Absolutely. So this really is going to make it easier for WordPress to get more business. I hadn't even thought of that. That's a very, very good point. So this is actually raising the opportunities for WordPress.com, the paid side of things. So that's a very, very good point. Reza says, I tried to use Divi with the slide revolution. I had many problems. Again, right now is not the right time to try and add these plugins and all of that. I would hold off that, but I've used that in the past and it works really fine. But I'm not sure to what point did it stop working correctly. So it's a matter of just trying out and seeing how it goes. Reza says, can you lend me $89, please? When can you pay me back? That's what I would ask. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, it's quite positive. But you know what? As I mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, the way I look at it is the WordPress Gutenberg right now, the builder itself, that's like a BMW, and with Divi and these other page builders, pretty much we are driving in Rolls Royces right now because there's a lot we can do. Sections, we can do so much. And also, don't forget, as these blocks are being added and all these developers are developing all these blocks, it's going to be very confusing. You know, there's going to be hundreds of blocks that can do several things. So unless you're someone who's like really serious about Gutenberg, where you're finding out all these blocks and adding them in and putting it all together to combine a website, you have to be very patient. But for someone that just wants a very good website out of the box, the modules that come with Divi or Elementor, they are much better because they're all in one place. You get all your support from one place, so it's all central. So that's why I think it's really, really powerful, and that's why I look at it as the Rolls Royce as compared to the BMW. Although the BMW can be comfortable, fast, and can get you from point A to point B, but so does the Rolls Royce, but in a better fashion. Right. Reza says, I'll give you $5 a week. Is that all just to use Divi? Yes, page load speed. I mean, I'm sure a lot of tests are going to be done with all these blocks and how everything's going to work well together, because I can tell you right now, Rito, I tried Gutenberg and the speed of the site was decreased a lot. But of course, I'm not saying this is going to be the future. They might have to do some tweaks. In fact, someone said in the comments box, it's a very good concept, very good idea, but they released it too quickly. I also agree with that because I think WordPress is playing catch up. Because Gutenberg right now, I don't think it's stable. You know, it's not working with a lot of things out there. So I also think it was rushed. But at the same time, I think it's the panic from the guys at WordPress because pretty much everything else. If you look at Medium, the way the interface is, LinkedIn is very clean, it's very polished. So I think WordPress felt like they're still living in the Stone Ages. That's why they really had to rush to push it out. But I think things can only get better. Right, guys. I think we've approaching now almost 2 hours. Right, so let's round up this live stream. So let's do a bit of WooCommerce either on Saturday or on Wednesday next week. In the meantime, if you can do me a favor, just give me a thumbs up on this stream. So that will be greatly appreciated. And also, next year, I might be starting a podcast. Okay, that's an idea I'm trying to experiment with because I really, really want to add a lot of content out there and just to attract bigger audiences, because I really want Mac University to really, grow and become the resource for web design courses. Excuse me. So I might be trying a podcast, see how that goes. Probably maybe start off with once a week and just cover the news, my thoughts, what's happening in the industry, stuff like that. So for those that don't mind working out and listening to a podcast, perhaps my podcast will be one of those podcasts that you could add on to those podcasts that you listen to. But we'll see how it goes. But those are my dreams. But at the same time, I don't want to overload myself with work because I still need to keep the promise that I have on Mac University itself. I can see some comments coming through here. Right. Okay. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you again on Saturday. As I mentioned, please keep an eye on your emails and also on Slack if you're a Mac University member, and also browser notifications. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you benefited from this live stream today. And again, I would like to apologize for the glitches that happened in the beginning of this live stream. Take care. Have a good rest of the week, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.